Hello everyone, welcome to the Geekdom, the place where we outcast come to talk about the things we love, and today we're talking X-Men. That's right, X-Men 97 is finally here. I am so excited to have X-Men back on my screens. It's just so cool, and I love the original animated series. I have wanted an excuse to make these figures for ages. So for today, we've got a CMF, which is essentially just the core squad of X-Men. We're going to jump right in with Cyclops. Now, this is my Cyclops. I know what you're thinking. Freddie, what are you doing? We recently got a Cyclops, a Rogue, and a Wolverine in the new X-Men 97 sets. We've also got Beast, we've got Storm in the CMFs. They ain't good, people. They ain't good. The Rogue sucks. I hate the Rogue. The Storm's really good. The Storm's really good, but that's besides the point. The point is, we can do better. And that's what I've tried to do today. So we've got Cyclops here, and you think the first thing you're probably noticing is, Freddy, why does he look a wee bit weird? And that is because I have gone for cell shading. I have tried to make, for the first time ever, my figures look cell shaded, just so they have that sort of cartoonish vibe. So all the shadows and stuff are in different ways that I would usually do it. I don't know quite how to describe it for you. But as you can see, that's applied all over Cyclops here. The torso, obviously, it's classic X-Men Cyclops. It's the Jim Lee Cyclops costume, and I love it. I thought the figure that Lego made was okay. I think this is definitely an improvement. The color is a lot more bold, and I think the actual way that the pouches are all laid out are a little bit more accurate to the show. Obviously, he's got that belt section there, which is composed of a bunch of different stuff. I kind of assembled the whole actual chest portion, but the actual belt bit itself is actually from Batman, like the classic Lego Batman figures, because I thought it just had the perfect belt shape, and then obviously boom, slap that X-Men logo right there on his chest. Now Cyclops, he's wearing his yellow undies. He has to, it's just the Cyclops way. And they look fine. It's a very weird part of his costume, but it works. The color's very bright, it's very eye-catching, and that yellow is just continued all the way through the legs onto the boots, and he's also got these little straps that go across his thighs there, which we will see again in another figure, because there's another figure that essentially uses the exact same legs as this. The arms are very similar to the legs in that they are that really nice blue color with a little bit of yellow accents on the wrists for his gloves, and they've also got that lovely dark blue for the cell shading all over the arms as well. Something very different from the Lego official figure is the face piece, and that's because I've gone for something a little bit different. Now, in most of the cool action shots you see of Cyclops, he has the beams coming out of his eyes, or he's got a little sort of sparkle coming out of his eyes. And I was like, I really want to try and do that. So what we've got here is a very angry looking Cyclops with kind of a sort of mini explosion in his visor, as if he's about to shoot those really powerful concussion blasts at an enemy. So that's what we've gone for here. It's kind of as you can tell, it's very spiky, it's all very animated. I think that's just the best word to describe it. I think it's very, very Jim Lee. I think it's very, very 90s animated series, and I think it's so cool. The hair is the dog walker hair in brown, except I have flipped it, just to be a bit more accurate to how Cyclops holds himself and does his hair. So I've just kind of mirrored the hairpiece. So it is technically a new hairpiece, but I have just reused the dog walker hair. Okay, people, I just want to pause really quick to just say thank you for 600 subscribers. We finally got there. We're making so many moves. It's crazy to think that just by Christmas time we were on 400 and now we're here. It's just, I love how much we're growing. So if you're not subscribed and you want to be, click on that big old red button down below, because it really, really helps. I just cannot believe where we are. Next stop, 700. Come on, we can do this. We can do this. If you love Lego, big red button down there. Thanks. Next up, we have my favorite X-Men member, Gambit. I love Gambit. Remy LeBeau, he's just so cool. He's got my favorite powers out of any of the X-Men. He's got those really cool throwing cards and stuff. I love that. I love him. I wanted to do a good figure for him, and I think I definitely have. We're gonna go from top to bottom. He's got a brand new hairpiece, and this hairpiece is just all over the place. Now, as you know, Remy LeBeau's hair, it's a bit crazy, it's all over the place, and I tried to replicate that here with this sort of spiky hairpiece. I imagine that this would be kind of rubber, Kai's original hairpiece, so it wouldn't be hard plastic, it would probably be rubber because it's kind of jagged and stuff. And then moving down, we've got his cool mask, which uses elements from Reverse Flash and all sorts to create that cool, that T-shaped opening in his face. Obviously, he's got those classic red eyes. I think they look great, it really makes his face pop. And we've got that massive brown trench coat, which is just completely synonymous with Gambit. Once again, covered in all that cell shading goodness. I think it started off as a Nick Fury coat, and then I edited it here and there to make it look a bit more Gambit-esque. And underneath that, he's got his kind of like pink armor, and even though I think his armor is supposed to be like silver, like those blue sections you can see, in the animated series and stuff, it's made blue just to make it pop, I think. So I've done that here. I've done it blue because I want it to be accurate to the show. And obviously all of his musculature is very, very highlighted in that sort of cel-shaded vibe, just so that you can it really pops off the chest. The legs, obviously we've got the trench coat, he's got those really, really cool boots, once again in that nice blue. Once again, I think it's supposed to be metallic or whatever, but here it's just that really nice blue and that dark blue contrast for the cell shading. And on the arms, it's very similar to Cyclops in the fact that it's just like the inside and the outside have a line of cell shading, and then it's just the block color in the middle. Next up, we have, I think she's tied for first place of my favorites with Gambit, and it's Rogue. I love Rogue. I love Rogue and Gambit. That's my favorite. I love just the duo. I think that's really great. I love the little mini-series we got in the comics last year, I think. And that was really cool. But one thing I hate is the official Lego minifigure for her. My God, I've been waiting for a Lego Rogue for so long, and they did her so dirty. I'm just going to throw up on the screen right now a picture of a side-by-side. Like, look at that. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but the Lego one sucks. It's all in the hair. Now let's talk about my Rogue's hair. I think I compiled this out of like 4 or 5 different hair pieces from Lego in just a range of colors. I really wanted to get the hair right because it's so iconic to Rogue, that like white top portion and how it just kind of flows into the brown. I really wanted to get that right, and I think I have. I also wanted to match the craziness because her hair is just, it's all over the place. It's wild. So I really want to try and capture that, and I think I've done it. I could not tell you for the life of me what those hair pieces are. I just know for a fact that I used the Monkey Kid hairpiece at one point so that I could give her bandana, because I did not want to print that on her. I mean, the printed one from Lego, oh. It's poor. It's real poor. So I wanted to have it like molded into the hairpiece, and the Monkey Kid is my go-to. It's what I use for Hunter, it's what I use for everyone. So that is definitely in there. And I think it contrasts it nice, because you've got the white, the brown, and then just like a nice slip of black. So I think that looks really good. I use my old reliable face print. I used Leia. I always use Leia for a lot of my females, because I think it's just a great face, as I've said before, and I think it definitely works on Rogue here. She's got a very like gentle smile, and I just think that's very Rogue. She's a very caring character. Now the torso. This is where it's at. I hated the jacket, and the other one, it was too dark, so I fixed the colors. I made it that sort of like murky green instead of the dark green, but then I used the dark green to cast the shadows, so I think that balances it quite nicely. Obviously, underneath the jacket, you've got her X-Men costume, which is, you know, it's a Freddy original. There's a lot of it's got a lot of texturing on there, a lot of the cell shaded stuff. Once again, just to kind of like highlight her abs and stuff. And then another change that I made from the Lego one is I didn't want the belt just going straight across. I wanted it to be at an angle because that's how Rogue wears the belt. So that belt goes from the top of her hip all the way down to the actual waist piece, like the hip piece on the legs. And that printing is just like, it just continues, which I think went really well. I often struggle with that to kind of make it match up quite well, but I think it's gone really well here. And then down onto the legs, it's just a continuation of that shading as well as just that base suit, and her boots are just like a really nice yellow. I love the yellow that I've used on all of these X-Men. I think it's just like a really bright color, and I think it really kind of matches the aesthetic of the show. Especially on Rogue here, I love the way the yellow contrasts the green because it's always used with blue in the show, so the green's a really nice color. The arms themselves, you know, she's got those rolled up leather sleeves on her jacket, and then she's got the suit underneath it with those gloves. Now we know Rogue can't take her gloves off because if she touches someone, chances are they're gonna die. And at the top of her shoulders, she does have the X-Men logo. It's not in the render, I am sorry. If you can see it, then props to you. I completely forgot to put it in the render, and my computer is just crapping out, so I can't do another one. But the X-Men logo is there. It's like that red and black X-Men logo, which you can see countless times throughout the rest of the video. Next up, we've got Bishop. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a great deal about Bishop. I know he's from the future, he's a time traveler. He's just not one of the X-Men that I tend to read a lot of the stories for or anything. I do love his character design though, and so for most of the characters in this series, I've gone for their like classic look from the animated series. But this one, I've gone for his X-Men 97 look. And you're probably thinking, I don't really see a difference. It's the hair. I didn't want to give him the long hair because it just kind of clashed with the scarf piece. So I gave him the short hair, and that matches his X-Men 97 look. So that's all good. It's all good. You know, it makes sense. It makes sense. Hair-wise, I've gone for the hairpiece that I used on my Miles Morales back in my Spider-Verse video that you should definitely go check out. Some great videos in there. The face print, no idea where I got this, but you know, it's got a goatee and he's got that M that he has on his eye. Forgive me, I know nothing about Bishop. I don't know if that has any semblance to anything important, but I know that he's got the M there, so that's on the figure. Bishop fans, you can hate me in the comments. He's got the scarf piece that was originally used on Wild Style, I believe. And then that also just continues imprinting onto the torso, so it makes it look longer, and it adds a bit of layering to the actual minifigure, which I think looks really nice. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. And then he's just covered in belts. I don't know what it is about this guy. Obviously, he's got his big main belt around his waist with all those like little bits of piping. And then he's got that giant red X-Men logo. I told you you'd be seeing it plenty of times in this video. And then I'm not sure if it's belts. I couldn't really see, but it could just be like texture on the suit. These like yellow bits running from his left shoulder all the way down to his left boot. So tell me in the comments whether that's like a belt or not. I think it's just like sewed on texture to the suit. I could be wrong. I don't know. His arms have some unique printing where one of them has like just like a regular cut-off sleeve with like a little yellow band around it. The other one has like an actual like bandolier thing up top because he has a holster where he has all his weapons and stuff. So I wanted to show that off just on the printing on the arm. And then he also on both arms has this sort of like purple energy crackle. Now, especially highlighted in the 97 trailer, we see that his powers are like, you know, they're quite visual. In the trailer, he is shooting things and he's got all this like purple energy surrounding him. So I wanted to show that off in this minifigure, and I saw on like an action figure or something like some like purple energy crackle through his arms, and I was like, gotta throw that in. So that looks really cool, and he's got black hands because obviously he's wearing black gloves. Now the leg printing, he has some very just standard boots, and then a continuation of that yellow thing. He has some real boring leg printing, but overall, even though I don't know a great deal about the character, I love this minifigure. Next up, it's everyone's favorite. It's Wolverine. I love Wolverine. I think he's really great. Honestly, I think he's a little bit overrated, but I do love Wolverine. Now, in the past like year or two, we've gotten 2 Wolverines from Lego, which I'm just ever so thankful for. We got one in a mech, and we got one in the minifigure series. Neither of which did I think were perfect. I thought they were very close, but I need perfect. And I think this is closer. I'm not saying that this is perfect, but I think it's closer. He's got a brand new helmet mold. Now, we got a new one for Wolverine in the mech or whatever, but this one is different. It's a lot shorter, so it doesn't take up so much of his face. It just covers his eyes, and it leaves more of the kind of sleek look of the head instead of the mask. But it still captures all of that stuff that we like. It's got those cool eye holes where he's got his little white eyes showing through, and it's got those giant, like, winged pieces as well, which I think looks really, really great. Underneath that, I think it's a modified version of the stubbled Batman face, just because I wanted to make him look a bit grisly, you know. I wanted to make a little bit unkept, because that's just how I picture Wolverine in my mind. I've given him those like shoulder pieces, because obviously he's got these like massive like shoulder pads in the 90s cartoon, which I love. So I've given him that, and then on the torso, I know you're probably thinking it doesn't look that different from the Lego one, but I 100% promise you that this is all from scratch. So he's got that really cool musculature, giant belt with the X on it, then obviously all of those like black lines. I had like a little bit of a Mandela effect. I thought the 90s Wolverine had more blue on his chest. He does not. It's all just black. So, you know what, it looks great though. I think it looks really cool, and especially on this figure, with all that different kind of colors of yellows and reds for the shading. It continues onto his legs. He's got some underpants on as well, you know, just like Cyclops. They're all repping the underwear. And then his legs have just got very similar boots to Bishop, except in, you know, different colors and stuff with the yellow and the different kinds of blues. The arms, you know, I really like what Lego did where they covered the arms in hair, so I've done that as well, just because I thought it was a really cool concept. Props to Lego for that. And then I've obviously got printing on his wrists to show where his gloves start. I've also given him his claw pieces, you know, his snicked, you know, his claw pieces, but I've done them in chrome, because if you know me on this channel, which you might do, you might have watched some of my videos, definitely go and watch a lot of the other ones. You know I love chrome. I chrome everything out. If it's metallic, it's got to be chromed. And if they're adamantium claws, they're going to have to be chromed out. Next up is my least favourite X-Men member. And I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. We have Storm. I don't like Storm. I find Storm very, very irritating. Do I think the LEGO official minifigure is amazing? Yes, I do. I think it's a great figure. And it was very difficult to try and beat that. But we have made an attempt, and I really like how it's come out. We're going to go from top to bottom. She's got a brand new hairpiece. It's just a crazy ass mohawk. She's got some crazy hair in X-Men 97. And honestly, even though this was the most difficult part of this entire series, I think the mohawks come out great. Molding that thing was a bitch, but you know, I love it. I think it looks great. I think it's very, very Storm. The head is very similar to the red She-Hulk figure, except obviously we've changed the skin tone and we've changed the eyes from yellow to like a white color because Storm has like white eyes. She's got the same shoulder piece as Wolverine, but in a white, obviously, just like the LEGO one did. And she's got a new cape piece. I love the one that LEGO used. I do not have access to it in Mecha Bricks. If one of you are watching, put that piece in, please. So I had to try and attempt to mold a cape. Wow, was that difficult? But it's kind of works, you know, it goes from her neck all the way down to her wrists. So I think it works. It doesn't actually attach to the wrists, so she has a bit more movement with the arms, but I still think it looks really cool. I think it works definitely. The torso, it's basically the LEGO one, but with a ton of cell shading just slapped all over it. A lot of different blacks, greys, everything just to try and make the costume pop, because it's very difficult to make a white costume pop, which I think the LEGO one did kind of fall flat on. So I think this one definitely, it's more eye-catching because of all the different colours and stuff. So I'm definitely a fan of the way this figure's turned out. The belt is actually from Superman. So we've used Batman and Superman in this series for belts. So yeah, that's a Superman belt combined with just a Geekdom original sort of sashes and stuff. The legs, would you believe it? She's wearing underwear again. Why are they all wearing these things? They're very, very strange. But she's got those kind of like underwear things, then the actual continuation of the white suit, and then obviously her boots as well. The arms were difficult. The arms were painful. I had to try and make it look like bits of fabric folding on top of each other. Like, how do you even do that? It was weird. And it was irritating. So yeah, that was a real pain. But we got it to work, and I think it looks really cool. Down on the rest of her arm, she's got some gold braces there where her sleeves end, and then she's not wearing gloves, so she's just got LEGO hands. Next up, we've got Morph. I love Morph. Morph's great. I love Morph. He's brilliant. I mostly love him because he's got a great jacket. I want Morph's jacket so badly. I love it whenever any X-Men wear jacket. There's a Marvel Legends Love Triangle 3-pack where there's a Cyclops wearing essentially this jacket over his Cyclops uniform. That is so cool. I want him to wear that in the show. That is so cool. We'll go from top to bottom as per usual. The face is just a Geekdom original. I don't even know what's going on here. I think it really captures Morph, but it also looks really kind of creepy. And I think that's just because they've got no eyebrows. They've just got shadow going around their eyes. I don't know what that's about. But they've got a really cool smirk because it's very Morph. I mean, especially in that poster, which I recreated for the thumbnail of this video, they've got like a very kind of playful expression, which I really dig. Now moving down, obviously, as I mentioned, they've got a really cool jacket with that cool red X-Men logo. I told you we'd see it. So yeah, I love that jacket. I really want it. But underneath that, it appears to be like the classic X-Men uniform from like the original Uncanny X-Men run of comics by Stan Lee. Except instead of black, it's blue. It's blue and yellow. But I really like that. I really dig the way that looks on Morph. They've got like a nice X-Men belt there. It's very basic, it's just got the logo, it's just red. Then moving down, it's Cyclops' legs, because they have the exact same legs. And that's not me being lazy, right? I could have just whipped up an entirely new batch of legs for Morph, but they have the same legs. Why would I do that? I'm not a crazy person. Next up, we have Jubilee. I'm not the biggest Jubilee fan, but she's got a very cool outfit, and I think the figure has turned out great. And if we ever got a Jubilee figure like this from LEGO, I'd be very pleased. We'll go from top to bottom, as per usual. The hair is the BTS hair. I love this hairpiece. I want to use it as many times as possible. I did just use it in my Daredevil set video, which you should watch. It's great. But she's obviously got that BTS hair in black, and then moving down, her face print is very unique. She's got her kind of sunglasses, but they're like flipped up so that she's not actually wearing them. And then she's kind of blowing like a bubble in like bubblegum sort of thing, because she's, you know, she's always doing stuff like that. And I wanted to have a bit more color into this figure. I wanted to be a bit more playful with the pink and stuff. So I've gone for that, and I think it looks really great. Moving down, she's wearing a turtleneck for some reason, and it is red, and it's got a little yellow badge on it of something that I have no idea what it is. I don't know what the badge is. All I know is it's a turtleneck, and she's got a badge. She's also wearing her giant yellow trench coat, which is, you know, it's just so bright. It's so nice to do this series, because I get to work with so many bright colors and stuff. It's really nice. And that trench coat, obviously, goes down onto the legs. She's wearing some, like, I think it's like supposed to be like denim shorts. So I've just done that in like a really nice light blue, and then the same blue is used on her boots. Obviously, it's the X-Men, and there's a lot of blue and yellow in there, and it just, you know, it just really works for Jubilee. Her arms, you know, sleeves rolled up, big yellow gloves. That's it. It's nothing too crazy, and she's obviously got her hands in yellow because she's wearing those big gloves. Next up, we've got Jean Grey. She's kind of boring, but you know, she's got that whole thing going on with Scott, and I like that. That's cool. She's pregnant in the new show, which is probably going to open up some you know, new dynamics and stuff. Her hairpiece was just the most painful thing ever. Designing the hair was just horrible, because her mask cuts off most of her hair, but she's somehow still got like a giant ponytail. So I had to try and figure that out, and she's got this horrendous quiff as well. So I started off with, you know, that really over-the-top quiffed hairpiece that I think the news reporter in Ninjago has. And then I just kind of molded it with a bunch of other ones to kind of smush together this strange-looking hairpiece that has somehow come out looking great, and it really works for Jean Grey. So I'm very, very pleased with that. Her mask has, you know, like the same sort of thing. There's kind of reverse flash, cut out sort of face print, and she's got this little kind of lighter blue diamond thing on her head, which is like in the show that lights up whenever she uses her powers and stuff. So you know that's there. That's important. I do not know what face print I used for this. I have completely forgotten, but I'm pretty sure it was just a rehash. Like, I haven't designed this one. I think I just slapped on a face print. So if any of you Lego nerds know what that face print is, you let me know, because I want to know. Now, the torso on this one was so tough to figure out the cell shading, because it uses a lot of black and dark blue. That really blew my mind. I didn't know how to do that. And I'm also working with darker shades of everything. So the yellow here that I'm using as like the base yellow is the darker shade that I use for the shading and all the other ones. I'm not sure if that made sense. But it's more of an orange suit, because the actual suit for Jean Grey is slightly different to the rest of them in color. So I had to kind of play with the different shades of like yellow and orange. But I think it has come out really well. I think all the shading really pops. I think you can really see all of her like musculature and stuff. Like it's all very out there, especially in those darker sections, like the dark blue bit, like up top here. It really creates like levels, and I think when you go and watch X-Men, you can definitely sort of like see that sort of shading. I don't know. I'm very pleased with how this one came out. She's got these giant like panels that go on her hips. I don't really know what that's for. I'm not even sure if it's a belt, but it's like armor almost that she has going around her hips, and she obviously has that giant red X-Men logo making its final appearance in this series. Her legs are quite Star Warsy in the fact that they're like they're just a lot of pockets and piping and all a bunch of random stuff, and then she's got those giant boots once again with all that piping. I don't know, I think they're very Star Warsy. And they've obviously got a bunch of those different yellows down there for all the different kinds of shading. Her arms have like, because she has shoulder pads as well, she's got like blue sections up top to be the shoulder pads, and then she's also got like these giant wrist braces, but she's not wearing gloves, so they're just like giant armored sections, I think. So that looks really cool. I don't really know what a lot of the purposes of her costume are, but I must say it's a very, very cool costume. And finally, people, we have Beast. I love Beast. Beast is great. Hank Henry McCoy, what a guy. One of the best X-Men characters across everything. I even like him in the Fox movies, and I'm not a big fan of those. But my favorite look for Beast that we ever get is lab coat Beast. We never get to see him in a lab coat for some reason, and he just rocks it every damn time. So the figure we got from LEGO in the CMF was just, you know, classic Beast, but I've gone for lab coat Beast, and I think he looks great. Top to bottom, people. The top is the Wolverine hair, like the classic Wolverine hair, but in like a really dark blue, which I think looks really, really good. I think it really suits Beast's kind of vibe. I was thinking of trying to get my hands on the, you know, like the Beast hair that they use in the LEGO games, the classic LEGO games, like the massive one. But I think this is just more, it's more simple, it's more Beast. The headpiece is really cool. I really like this. It's a combination of Axel from LEGO Nexo Knights and Harry Potter. So the glasses and the eyes, they're Harry Potter, but the rest of it is Axel, and I think that looks really, really cool. It's got a lot of these like cool lines and wrinkles and stuff that kind of adds his sort of beastly form. And then he's got those like big teeth and stuff. And I think, honestly, I think he looks adorable. I think this Beast looks absolutely adorable, especially with those giant blue mutton chops. I love this figure. I wish we could get a figure like this from LEGO. Then obviously, moving down, he's got his kind of like hairy Beast chest and a little yellow belt with the red X-Men logo on it. But then on top of that, boom, lab coat. And it's just very standard. I think I used the Jurassic World lab coat as a starting point and then just mixed it up from there. Moving down on his hips, because he's also wearing the strange underwear, he's got like these blue, like these really dark blue hips, which kind of look a bit out of place when you're not thinking underwear, but it works, I promise. Like if you go and look at images of Beast, you'll see that his legs are very much just the Beast legs, and then it's just his hip and crotch portion that's just covered in this very... I don't even want to know what was going on in Beast's wardrobe. He's got some massive toes. I don't know why. I just thought he needed toes. I like the way it looked on the Gremlins, so I put them in here. It's very eerie and a little bit weird, but I like it and I think it looks cool. He's just covered in fur, by the way, all over him. Torso, legs, there's just a bunch of jagged lines. I spent about an hour just drawing jagged lines over and over again to try and make him look furry. And I think it looks cool. It wasn't time wasted. That's great. His arms, would you believe it, have cell shading. Very standard stuff. It's just dark grey, white, and then blue hands. I was contemplating doing a big fig for him, but I don't think it would have fit in. I like how the minifigure scale looks, and he just blends in with all the other X-Men, and I love that. Well, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed, and I do hope you enjoy X-Men 97. Such a treat to have the X-Men back. I'm so happy I got to make this video. I think the figures look absolutely stellar. And if you did too, feel free to like and subscribe down below and tell me what your favorite minifigure I made today was and your favorite member of the X-Men. As we know, my favorite is Gambit and Rogue. But anyway, everyone, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Adios.